Hello, everybody. Once again, good morning and welcome. It's so nice to have you all joining us today. My name is Mark Woodard. I am the very proud principal of our school, Parsons Memorial Elementary School. And today is certainly an exciting day as we take another step forward towards meeting all of our incoming kindergarten students, getting ready for the fall semester. Welcome to all of you. As you know and see, I'm joined by a number of our faculty here at Parsons. I'd of course like to introduce our assistant principal, Ms. Stephanie Goldman.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Parsons. Nice to see you today.
Thank you and welcome once again. It's so nice to see that we have a number of new families as well as some current and returning families joining us today. Obviously, we're here today joined together via the technology that we've all come used to over the course of the last year or so through this Zoom webinar. I'm very happy that we're able to do this today. It's giving a number of people access to this conversation in a number of different ways. A few technical points about the webinar today. You'll notice at the bottom of your screen, there's a chat feature which we're not going to utilize throughout the day. However, there is another feature that says Q&A, and that has an opportunity where you can feel free to ask questions throughout the webinar. You post them there. We'll take a look and we'll do our best to answer all of those questions as we go through the information and conversation that we have this morning. Of course, at any time, whether it's today or in the future, you have questions that are specific or personal or things that maybe just weren't answered today, please feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. That is what we are here for. So this morning during our conversation, you're going to hear from a number of our faculty members. You're going to learn a bit about who we are as a school and what we stand for. You'll get to hear a little bit about what a day in the life of a kindergartner looks like, as well as our response in regards to health and safety at the school and district level over the course of the last year. And we'll start thinking about some of the next steps as we think about heading towards the fall and looking forward to that big day come September. At this time, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our superintendent of schools who's joined us this morning, Dr. Lou Wolf.
Good morning. So excited to be here. I'm so excited that we're all back in school. For the first time in over a year, we have all of our children, K through 12, back in school. And that's where I'd like to begin because your children will be in our schools very, very soon. If you know of folks in your neighborhood who haven't registered yet for kindergarten, please encourage them to do so that we can be well prepared. I hate Zoom meetings. I would much rather be seeing you in person so that we could see the excitement and the concerns that are on your face. I often tell parents at kindergarten meetings, it's probably one of the most difficult times other than when you send your kids off to college, when you let go. When I let go of my two daughters, each one approached kindergarten differently. One got on the bus and never looked back, and the other held on to me like I was sending her off to hell. So all children approach kindergarten with a different level of readiness. Here's the good news. The teachers in our school, the people on this screen, will see your children as unique individuals. We will take care of them. We'll nurture them and you through those first difficult letting go experiences. So I put this screen up behind me because it's one of my favorite children's books, but it really is emblematic of the way we see your kids. This is called Apalamondo's Dreams, and you can see the little boy with the ideas flying out of his head. That to me is a lot what kindergarten is like. Kids have ideas flying out of their heads. They fill our lives and yours with color and challenge and excitement. And we're excited to finally have them back. I think we've done, if you have children in our school, a wonderful job of taking care of your children through this very difficult period with your help. And I can assure you that we're going to continue to do a thoughtful job in welcoming your children to our schools for the first time. So I know you're a little worried. Don't worry. Communicate. Talk to your teachers. Talk to your principal, your assistant principal, all of the faces on this screen. I'm going to leave you now because I have to go to another meeting, but I'd much rather stay and talk about kindergarten. But I leave you in very capable hands. And we so look forward to seeing you very, very soon. So have a great summer. We'll probably be seeing you well before then, but Enjoy your time at Parsons as you begin this journey. Take care, everybody. See ya.
Thank you for joining us, Dr. Wool.
You're very welcome.
Certainly, as Dr. Wool said, we are very excited to get to meet our newest students and welcome them and all of you to the Parsons community and our family. So we're going to start off talking a little bit about who we are as a school. As many of you most likely know, Parsons has a rich history here in Harrison, dating all the way back to 1898. And I'm sure many of you are from within our community, and there's probably a number of you out there who probably attended Parsons, or your parents or grandparents, aunts, uncles may have come here to Parsons. So we definitely have strong ties to our families and communities, as well as a lot of memories here in our school building. We are a school that runs kindergarten through 5th grade. We have approximately 500 students with about 90 staff members working together to support all of our students within the context of our school day. We are a multinational school. We have approximately and represent 20 different countries with at least that many languages from our families throughout our school, which really adds to the richness of the school experience and is something we recognize and celebrate in every way that we possibly can. Throughout our school, those 500 students are broken into approximately 27 or so classroom sections in those grades kindergarten through 5th. The 27 sections, that's inclusive of integrated co-teaching classrooms, as well as some self-contained multi-graded classrooms that provide support for students. What we do here with our students is really work together with children and families to develop that love of learning. We want our learning activities to be student-centered. And what that means is exactly what it says. We're keeping the student at the center of our instruction. Everything that we do has the student in mind, and not all the students, but the individual student, really recognizing and thinking about who you are as a child. What are your various strengths, various needs for continued development, so that we can personalize the instruction to who you are, whether it's academics, social, or emotional pieces that we are trying to enhance. We want our students to feel and be empowered, to know that they have the capacity that they can continue to develop through perseverance, dedication, and hard work. It's our job to give them the appropriate feedback, as well as their peers' jobs and their own jobs to give that feedback to their peers to help each other continue to grow in all ways. And as teachers and instructors, we really try to take the art and the science of teaching and balance those together, utilizing what we know are the research-based instructional practices and strategies that we can utilize and integrate into the context of our classrooms to make sure that our students are receiving the best possible experience that they can. Within our classrooms, we work very hard to create meaningful learning experiences for our children. We want to make sure that those learning experiences are both rigorous and engaging. We want our children to be excited about the learning that they're engaging in throughout the school day. We want them to be interested in what it is that they're learning about. A lot of that has to do with the relationships we're making with our students, the relationships that they're making with each other, as well as the instructional tools and strategies we're utilizing to engage students throughout the school day. We want our students to have opportunities to collaborate and work together. Now, while we all know whether you've been in a school or not, the last year has been a very different year and presented a number of challenges. It's also presented and created a number of opportunities for us to learn from and build off of. So we've learned a variety of new and exciting ways for our students to collaborate. And we're looking forward to the upcoming year and this year as well, where we're able to take our traditional ways of collaboration and blending those with new and exciting cutting edge ways. Sorry about that, something else in the district. We want our students to be critical thinkers and working together and reflecting, as well as celebrating each other's work. You see something listed there that says celebrating authentic work. And what that means is not just taking worksheets that students are working on and completing throughout a school day, but developing their work of their own, celebrating that work, identifying no matter that who they are, celebrating what they are capable of producing and continuing to grow within that work. And then, of course, we use multiple measures to help us identify and figure out exactly where it is we need to target our instruction to help a student move from point A to point B. And that's where that personalization really comes into play there. We want to make sure we're connecting with every single one of our students because every child is unique. For anybody familiar with our school, we hope that you know that the social emotional development of our children is of the utmost importance to us. Academics, of course, are extremely important, but at the same time, we know that if we don't care for each other and care for ourselves, the academics become that much harder, more difficult. So we instill a number of values and characteristics that we think are very helpful for our students. We talk about things like having a growth mindset that's sometimes referred to as the power of yet. We talk about being mindful learners, mindful of our learning, mindful of our environment around us, as well as mindful of the people around us. What's the impact we're having on our friends, on our teachers? How are we mindful of our settings so that we start to learn those important relationship development skills, as well as self-management, social awareness, and so forth. This is all rooted in the idea of kindness and building relationships throughout our school. Students who don't normally have the opportunity to engage with each other, extending beyond just the classroom of students. So you see here some information about technology and all of the work that goes on here at Parsons in Harrison. You know, a year or so ago when we first entered the pandemic and schooling, you know, was there were a lot of questions about what school would look like while people were learning from home as well as learning in school. I feel that we were very well positioned here in our school and here in Harrison because we had a lot of the technology already in place to support our students. And since then, we've only enhanced the technology, both kind of in the hardware point as well as the software. So something to know now, we are in a one-to-one setting, and that will continue on. All of our kindergarten, first and second grade students utilize iPads in the classrooms, and it's an iPad that they're also able to take home and use at school. So we have that, and that will continue on. Our third, fourth, and fifth grade students utilize Chromebooks. Those K1 and 2 students through their iPads have access to a variety of instructional software and programs that teachers utilize both within the school day as well as home. They work mostly off of a platform called Seesaw, which also integrates the ability to communicate with families. And then our third, fourth, and fifth graders work within a Google environment, really working in Google Docs, Google Sheets, working out of Google Classroom, again, with an ability to interact and collaborate in a very different way. Of course, our students and all of us have become experts in Zoom and video conferencing software, and that's something that we continue to use and look for new ways to utilize, whether people are learning from a distance or even ways to connect with others within the confines of our school. It's allowed us opportunities to connect with kids in classrooms, down the hall or upstairs in ways that we hadn't had the opportunity to do so before. Of course, all of our classrooms are equipped with interactive smart boards, document cameras, variety of instructional software, and we're even experimenting in different ways with appropriate emerging technology in both virtual reality. Hopefully you've noticed that I've mentioned a few times how important relationships are to us. Quite frankly, relationships matter. And you'll see here a number of pictures that were taken over the course of the last few years. And I was sure to include some pictures both from this year as well as prior years, because I want everybody to see and know what our school is. And while we're working within certain parameters now, we are very carefully and optimistically continuing to work towards all of those things that we have within our traditional school setting. And we will be there once again, where we have the opportunity to bring students together, bring our families together in the ways that you see here. We have a variety of celebrations and performances throughout our school year, and those celebrations take a number of forms, whether it's a writing celebration within a classroom or across classrooms. You might have a kindergarten classroom partnering with a fourth grade classroom, getting to share and show off their writing. Maybe the kindergartners wrote a how-to book where they're getting to teach the fourth graders how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or the perfect s'more or something else. And times where our fourth graders might be partnering with our kindergartners to share their writing, to teach them about something because they've become an expert in a specific animal or something else that might be of interest to our kindergartners. Another piece of forming relationships throughout our school are the variety of extracurricular clubs and activities that we offer. We're very proud and excited to say that we have found ways to deliver those clubs both from a distance as well as engage students here in person. So we create and develop clubs ranging from Lego and Tinker clubs, where students have a chance to really get their hands in on something and create. We have clubs, a new club we introduced this year, which is a creative writing club, where students have the opportunity to create in a different way and share their love of writing. We also have a newspaper club, which allows students interested in a different type of production and writing to engage in. We have our theater arts and a coding club, as well as fitness clubs and our service club. So you can see that we try to develop programs that will engage a variety of students and hit a number of interests throughout our student body. Now, of course, an integral piece to our school is the connection that we have with our families and our community. And we are always partnering with our families and our community in every way that we can. An extremely important piece of our school community is our PTA. And the work that we do together there is of paramount importance to us. They work side by side, myself, Ms. Goldman, our teachers, to come up with new ideas, to create enhancing opportunities for our students to engage in, as well as all of our families. And while she couldn't be here this morning, our incoming PTA president has prepared just a video for us. So I'm hoping she has a chance here to say hello.
Hi, and welcome to Parsons. My name is Jessica McGee. I am the PTA president for the upcoming 2021-2022 school year. Just a little bit about myself. I have two kids that attend Parsons. My son Lucas is in 3rd grade and my daughter Jenna is in 1st grade. I have also attended Parsons myself, and my mom worked here for 30 plus years, so Parsons runs pretty deep with me. Our PTA works very closely with Mr. Woodard and Ms. Goldman and our teachers to make sure that our children receive the best experience during their time at Parsons. Your membership when you join the PTA help funds a bunch of activities and events that we do throughout the year. This year has been a little bit more difficult as far as just having to have some new ideas to bring in to create fun experiences for the kids and also raise some money. We did do some online events this year. We had a spring boutique. We had a Jelly Belly fundraiser, which was done online, and our book fairs were done virtually online instead of in person. Hopefully moving forward, we'll be able to get back to some in-person book fairs, which are always a big hit. This year, we were very fortunate that we're able to do our holiday boutique still in the school, where we set up a room and had the kids come in and shop for their loved ones and for gifts for the holidays, and they just had a great time doing it. So we were happy to be able to still do that for the kids. We also had a pumpkin patch this year, which was something new, where the kids came down and picked out pumpkins around Halloween time, and they were able to bring them back to the room and decorate them, and the PTA was able to supply that for them this year, which was just so much fun. They had just a great time coming around and picking out their pumpkins and going back to the classroom and decorating them. We were also able to show our appreciation to our teachers this year by just telling them how much we appreciated everything that they have done in the past year, how they've gone above and beyond for our kids. We were able to bring in a breakfast food truck and provide that for them twice this year, just to say thank you for everything that they've done. The PTAs also will able to fund scholarships or different school or club grants. This year, the kindergarten grade came to us, and teachers came to us and wanted to put together little personalized kits that would, be for each child, that had different activities and things for them to do during recess. Since we weren't able to use our playground in the beginning of the year, it had little activities for them to keep busy and things to help with their fine motor skills. And it was a really big hit, and we were happy that we were able to provide that for them this year. We also do transportation grants for field trips, so that, if you're going on there, if your child was going on a field trip, for example, we went to the recycling center one year in my son's grade. We were able to provide the busing for that to take them there. Unfortunately, we were not able to do any field trips this year, but we're hoping that, things will be getting better and moving forward, we'll be able to get back to that. We also have a 5th grade committee, which helps fundraise for our 5th graders who are leaving Parsons. A lot of the fundraising and monies that we raise from that will help provide the 5th graders with a fun event before the year is out. We've also been able to give them t-shirts and to give them free yearbooks for their last year. So they've been also doing some great fundraising for that as well. If any of you have any questions about joining the PTA or just have more questions about the PTA in general, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is hondagirl916@hotmail.com. And we would love to have your support next year and look forward to seeing you next year. Thanks so much.
All right, and as you can see, as I said, our PTA certainly works so hard and is so supportive of our school and our community, and works side by side all of our staff members, who I'd like to speak to next. Some might call me a little biased, but our staff is the best that you'll find around. They are a caring, loving, hardworking staff who do everything they can to support every one of your children, our students, in whatever way possible, both inside the classroom and out, to be honest with you. And joining me today, I have a few staff members who I'd like to introduce to you. So first, I'd like to introduce one of our intervention specialists, Ms. Fitzgerald.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here with you this morning. I may know some of you. I can't see you, but I'd be happy to see you back in September. I am one of 4 interventionists that we have here at Parsons. We support students and their teachers in K-5 reading and in 3 to 5 grade for math. So we work very closely as a team. We care about all the students. And what I find very special about our team is that even if we don't work with your child directly, we're in and out of classrooms and we know almost all of the students in the building. We work with our E&L teachers. We support our speech teacher and our occupational therapist and everyone. We are a great team, and we're here for all of our students. So we definitely look forward to seeing your children in the coming years and helping them out and getting to know them some more. So it was nice to see you this morning.
Thanks, Ms. Fitzgerald. And now I'd like to welcome Ms. Chapman, one of our English as a New Language teachers.
Hi, everyone. My name is Allison Chapman, and I teach English as a new language. I am one of 5 ENL teachers here at Parsons, and we work with children who speak another language at home who need language support. We work on speaking, listening, reading, and writing. We work on social and academic English. If your child is going to be part of our program, we have a yearly orientation in the fall that explains more about the ENL program. If you have any questions before then, please feel free to reach out to me or any of the other ENL teachers, and we're happy to answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Ms. Chapman. And now I'll welcome Ms. Conti, one of our speech and language pathologists.
Good morning, everyone. I'm part of the related service team here at Parsons, and our team includes speech language pathologists like myself, occupational and physical therapists, psychologists, and other special education teachers who are all here to support your children. And we want to make sure that every student has the support they need to best access their curriculum. And kindergarten is kind of an ongoing assessment, so we collaborate with the kindergarten teachers throughout the year to make sure everyone is getting what they need to do well in the classroom. Always feel free to reach out to one of us, or you can reach out to your child's teacher if you have any questions or concerns at all. And we're excited to have all these new faces at Parsons.
Thanks, Ms. Conti. And now I'd like to introduce Ms. Markarian, an instructional specialist who has a different type of role in our school and district.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning and to be a very proud member of the Parsons family. I am an instructional specialist in the district. I love my job. I get to work on the district level, the building level, and the classroom level to support teachers as they work to support all of your little ones. And I work with them on curriculum and on all of the different initiatives that are at all of the different levels. So my favorite part of my job is being in the classroom with the kids, though. And I look forward to meeting all of your students in September.
Thank you, everyone, for sharing that information. And, part of that hopefully is for everybody just to continue to learn, a little bit more about our school, the number of people that are involved and the options available to all of your students to make sure that we all can continue to support every one of our students here in any way they need it. Every single member of our staff is a part of our learning community, and they are all devoted to ensuring that all of our students continue to grow. That goes from, as you could see in the little graphic there, a variety of different teachers we have to our SRO and custodians, people who work in our kitchen, our school and teacher aides. We are all in this together to help support our students. So a little bit about the life of a kindergartner. This is a model schedule, if you will, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what a day might look like. Our day starts right around 9 o'clock. The bell goes off actually at 8:55. Students will put their things away in their lockers. We do have lockers here at school. They don't, lock. No one has to worry about remembering a locker code or anything like that, but it is a nice personal space to keep for students to keep their things. They'll head into their classroom for a greeting, attendance, lunch count, and engage in some morning work. Those morning routines, we're really looking to start building that independence or building off of independence that students come to us with. Everything from being responsible for your materials, maybe unzipping your own jacket and being able to hang it, to getting yourself organized to start the day. Students will head in to their classroom for a morning meeting, which will be a blend of social-emotional work tied with some academic work as well, setting the students up for the day. I might head into something we call our readers workshop. Within the workshop model of instruction, our teachers will begin with a targeted mini lesson, giving our children an idea for here's the big idea we're going to be focused on in this lesson, and then move through some whole group or guided practice and continue to work downward until students have a moment for individualized practice and support from a teacher. Teacher might work with students independently or small groups of students based on whatever strengths or various needs that that teacher is seeing in his or her students on that given day for that lesson. Again, personalizing and individualizing the instruction for our students. Lesson like that would end up coming to a close with everybody back together to reflect on their learning, to maybe share out a bit about their learning for the day, and then start to connect it to the following day's work. From there, class might head into their math block. We're utilizing a program called Math in Focus, which is a Singapore-based math program. And the big idea of the math that we work within is that it moves students from a concrete understanding through a pictorial understanding to the more abstract understanding of the math. And that is something that we see starting with kindergarten, moving all the way up through our 5th grade students. Before you know it, it might be time for lunch and recess. Students have about 25 minutes or so for both lunch and recess to start the year. We do have our kindergarten aides who are part of our classrooms, help supporting our students during that lunchtime, making sure they could do everything from, find an appropriate seat to, carry, open their milks, open their lunch boxes and get themselves set up for the day. After that period, we might head into a science or social studies time. Many of our teachers utilize centers in some way, shape, or form for our science and social studies blocks. And what that means is small groups of students working on similar activities. That might be something on an iPad, might be a targeted piece of software that the teacher has chosen that he or she wants their students or small group of students to work on. Or something else where maybe it's more of a whole group investigation in science. Every day, all the students go to a special area classroom, and we work on a rotating 6-day cycle, which you'd hear more about from your specific teacher. But you can see that includes our physical education program. Students have music at least once a week, as well as art, and we'll visit the library and media center to engage in different work there as well. We come to the final part of the day where a student might have their writer's workshop and then do some phonics and foundations work before it's time to pack up and transition for dismissal before you know it. Ms. Goldman, would you like to talk and give a little bit of an example of what a student might work on in the writer's workshop or ELA?
Of course, I'd love to. So I'll give an example of fiction. Kindergarten, they begin the year early on reading fiction books. And while you might be thinking, my student or child can't read, that's okay. Even looking at the pictures, looking at the words, that is all reading. And that's where they will begin the year. Some students may be able to read some words or know some letters, and that's okay too. During fiction, they'll start to talk about characters. They'll talk about setting. They'll read books that have characters in multiple different types of books. So a series type of book like Mo Williams has characters that we see in many books that they read in kindergarten, Elephant and Piggy, for example. They'll talk about who the character is and how the character feels. So you'll hear things like that when they're talking about books or reading books at home as well. And the good piece is then they're starting to write different types of fiction. So one example of what they might be writing is a narrative piece. And that might be, sorry for my dog barking in the background, more about like a personal small moment story. So your teacher might ask the students, think about a story that's similar to what happened to Elephant and Piggy. Like there's a whole story about them sharing an ice cream cone. And can you tell a story about that? So then the students will be writing very specific stories about a time that you and your family went for ice cream and they were able to elaborate that both in words and then through words and pictures on a piece of paper as well. And if they can't write their words, that's okay. They start the beginning of the year where they learn to draw the pictures and then they start to label the pictures. And then eventually by the end of the year, you will be so impressed with how much they can read and write and improve both whether they read at the beginning of the year or right at the beginning of the year or don't know anything coming in. Let's switch gears a little bit, and we're going to just talk a little bit about some healthy habits that exist because of COVID, but at the same time, many of these things occur all of the time in our school. So you'll see the water fountain here. We do have water bottle stations throughout the building where students can fill up a water bottle. They can leave it on their desk, drink whenever they need to stay hydrated during the day, especially in September or as we get to the end of the school year when they're in kindergarten. It does get a little bit warm outside, and after they come from recess or physical education, they get a little sweaty and want to drink. They also have multiple times throughout the day for hand washing or using Perel or any kind of hand sanitizer to make sure that they, if they are sharing something like, let's say, a basketball at recess, that they always wash their hands and sanitize before and after to make sure that they stay nice and healthy and safe. In the hallways, we do have spots on the floors and in the classrooms to make sure that they know, just to keep some safe distance away from each other. Obviously with kindergarten, it is a little bit trickier because they do love each other as soon as they meet the first day of school. But we do want to make sure we remind them, basically you'll see in the classroom picture with the desks are a little bit spread out and they don't look exactly like this anymore. There's tables in all of our kindergarten classrooms and kids are sitting somewhat next to each other. Obviously, we do have some rules and requirements that we are required to follow from the state in order to keep everybody safe, but we don't know what that will look like exactly in September when students are coming back, but you will learn all about that as we get closer to September. And there's on the very top picture, you'll see it's if you've been in school before, you've already been filling this out for your current child, but there is an app that you fill out every single morning before your child comes to school. And it just asks whether or not you've been exposed to anything or they've been exposed to anything, if they have a fever, and you mark it and you bring it to school when you bring your child, or if your child takes the bus, that's okay. We'll just take their temperature when they get off the bus, and we have access to make sure that your child is healthy when walking in. We want to make sure not only for your child, but for everybody else that we keep everybody as safe as possible. And there's a few other things in place specifically because of COVID this school year. We have nightly cleaning and sanitizing in our classrooms. And while the cleaning obviously occurs all of the time, every single day throughout the entire school year, this is a little bit special. There's a special sanitizing machine that's sprayed across the room. It is very safe. Nobody is in the building when it occurs. It's after hours once it starts to get dark. The custodians take care of all of that so that it's completely sanitized before your child comes back. There are currently, and we don't know what September will look like, there are currently little barriers on the desks in each classroom, and that just helps students to remind them that this is their area. They can take their mask off if they need to scratch their nose or blow their nose, and it's still safe for them and for their friends around them. Students and teachers in the buildings are all wearing masks, and they do take mask breaks during the school day where they'll go outside, they'll eat snack, they're spread out away from each other so that they are safe and okay. And the last is on the very right-hand side, you'll see both a student and one of our kindergarten teachers standing by an air filtration system. Those are in our classrooms, in every single classroom where your child would be. I'm not sure what September will look like exactly, but they're currently in there to make sure that the air is filtrated and they're breathing fresh air along with having windows and doors opened.
So as we start to think about, and as I said earlier, get closer to the fall, we start thinking about getting ready for that big first day. And often people ask or think about, well, what can we do to help get ready for the first day? And I'd say start thinking about, some of the items here. What does it look like to be ready for the classroom environment? Well, really, it's about having respect and for families and teachers, peers and self. Again, thinking about how we build those positive and meaningful relationships with others, as well as developing stamina. It's okay if your kids can't, sit and read a book on their own for a half hour yet. Nobody necessarily expects that, but starting to develop that stamina to tend to tasks on their own or with peers for growing periods of time, and really thinking about regular and building regular routines. It could be everything from bedtime to maybe a reading time before bed, something that I do with my daughters, or at least do the best that I can on a regular basis with my children, and other appropriate family routines. We think about what's next. One of the things we're going to ask and depend on our families for is, we know that nobody knows your children better than you, and we need your help getting to know our future kindergartners. So sometime in the near future, all of our families will get a questionnaire via email. You'll have a series of questions that helps us start to know your child. Give us an idea for what some of the basic concepts they do or don't have mastered yet, what motor skills might look like, their language dominance, so we could better understand how we can potentially support students developing language, and how your child is as far as developing relationships and what you think their personal learning styles might be. All of this is extremely important information for us, as we look to build our classes in the future and get to know your children. Of course, if your children go to currently a preschool program, with your permission, we'll reach out to preschool programs as well to get their perspective and help us know who our newest students are. After today, if you're looking for more information, if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, certainly visit the Harrison Central School District's website. There's lots of information that's updated frequently. You can also look for the Parsons Memorial Elementary School tab. It's under our schools, and you'll get to see some of our updates there. I think visiting the website is certainly a good place every now and then, because you'll get to see not just pieces and information about kindergarten, but more about what our school district does K through 12, which gives an idea for where your children are going as they're growing, and who we are and what we stand for as a district. Both myself and Ms. Goldman are on Twitter. We try to keep people updated in various ways through that as well. Of course, our Department of Education website has information there as well. All right, we have a question here I'm just going to respond to. It's a question about classes being in person. All of our students are in person. Throughout the school year, we were working, like many other districts, in what was called a hybrid model, where students were coming, let's say, every other day. They were working in school, and every other day they were working from home. But just before our spring break, so just about 2 weeks ago, we invited all of our students back to school all at once. So all of our students are currently in school 5 days a week, full time. We certainly are planning for that for the fall, and are planning that way. Of course, as you can imagine, we will continue to monitor the ongoing situation and respond to any types of guidance that we may receive from New York State that might impact any of those decisions. Our school, generally, just for people to know, opens around 8 o'clock in the morning. So there's an early drop-off period that's available, where students can wait, they'll sit and wait for classes to begin. Our after school, some people have asked about after school programs that is run through the Harrison Children's Center. There is something here at the school. However, that is run separately through the Harrison Children's Center. So that would be the organization that you would get in touch with. However, we can certainly help connect people as needed. Our class sizes, there's a question about class size. Our class sizes, K to 5, tend to run on average 20 students. Of course, sometimes you might have a cohort of that's a little smaller. So you might have 17 or 18 students in a class. And likewise, sometimes we have cohorts that are a little bit bigger. So sometimes you'll have 22 or 23 students in a class. But we typically do average out to about 20 students in each of our classrooms. Let's just see a couple other questions. Questions about the backfield and playground being open. Yep, we certainly hope that they continue to be open. Our playground during the school day was closed for most of the school year. However, we just reopened it for use for our students at recess. Currently, our students maintain, they have recess in different areas outside the building, and they rotate as classes on a weekly basis or so throughout different areas. So everybody gets to use the playground or the blacktop area or one of our fields and so forth. So certainly, we look forward to continue to have that usage as we reopen in the fall. There's a question here about how often do we provide progress updates for children? I think the answer to that is that there's formal report cards, as we would all think of, and that happens. We work on trimesters or marking periods. So 3 times a year, report cards are issued. That's in December, March, and the end of the year. And those are accompanied by parent-teacher report card conferences, both in December and March. However, the real answer to, the progress updates is ongoing. teachers will be having ongoing communication with families throughout the year to help you understand where your child is and is performing. And as I think it was Dr. Wool, and we've mentioned it a few times throughout the conversation today, please, we want our families to reach out to us. If there's ever any questions, whether it has to do with the academic or social progress of your child, or about something, what's for lunch the next day, let's say, that's what we're here for. We want all of our families to feel comfortable and confident reaching out to us and connecting with us with those types of questions. We tend to send out information about the coming school year, including class placement at the end of August. Usually about the third week or so of August is when families will receive a packet from the school with lots of information about the upcoming school year, some forms, typical forms that we ask families to complete and fill out, as well as teacher assignment for the upcoming school year, which I know is always an exciting time for people to get. Great. Just want to check if there were any other questions that we can respond to. Oh, there was a question here about multi-age learning. So just to speak to that briefly, the multi-age learning is part of our social-emotional work and development that we do here at Parsons. And it's a program that we created together with our faculty about 5 years ago now, after studying a variety of research on best practices in developing strong social emotional characteristics within students, to help them also be the best learners that they could be. An element that we added and thought was very important was the development of relationships. And the multi-age piece to that is the idea of connecting students across multiple grade levels with each other. So I might be a third grade student and I have relationships and connections with third graders in my class and maybe other third graders throughout the school. But how much do I get to really engage with first graders or fifth graders? How well do I know the rest of the students and children within my community? So we create opportunities for our students to come together in structured ways in classrooms to learn with each other. And through those multi-age experiences, which would happen maybe, let's say, 2 or so times a month in a typical school year. It also helps our oldest students start to understand how they can be models and role models for our youngest students and help them feel, empowered in that way. And just, again, continuing to build more relationships throughout our school, really making it that community. So it's been very successful and exciting work. It's had to be modified a bit, as you could imagine, this school year, where we've looked for opportunities for different classrooms to interact with each other through the available technology. But as we continue to monitor and all the health and safety standards and progress through, hopefully, what I think all of us are hoping for, an end to the pandemic in the coming time, hopefully sooner than later for all of us. We will certainly look to, how can we safely return to those experiences and create those opportunities for all of our students. I think that about does it for this morning. I want to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for asking the questions. Hopefully we were able to answer a number of the questions that you had coming in today. As I said earlier, certainly if we didn't, please feel free to reach out to us. I believe everybody at least has my email now, so you can definitely send me an email if there's something that hasn't been answered that you're really curious about, or something that might be an individual-based question, as well as when you do get here with your kiddos, please continue to reach out to us. One last thing I'm thinking is, as we progress through the rest of the spring and summer, we will be thinking about opportunities to potentially have our students, our newest students, come in and have the chance to visit the school before starting once again. again, we are thinking about and trying to plan the best way to make those happen. So if we're able to, certainly we will be back in touch with all of our families. And we also look forward to meeting all of you. Welcome once again to the Parsons community and our family. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.